Hey everyone, this is Emily with Snake Discovery, and today I'll be showing you 3 different techniques to avoid getting bit by a snake. The first technique is what I call the confident grab. We're going to use my bull snake Heather as our example here. Take this cave off. I'm just waking her up. She's already buzzing her tail. Now if you have a snake that is in strike pose, then you typically want to be a little bit careful when you pick them up. She is starting to get into strike pose here, and now strike pose, I should explain, is kind of an S shape to the snake, just like she's getting in right now. She's kind of spring-loading herself to get ready to strike. Now if I were to nervously approach her from the front, she would probably bite, like that. But with the confident grab technique, you simply reach from behind in one confident swoop, and you pick them right up. Once they're in your hand, a snake will usually calm right down, just like she did right now. It's usually just when they're in their enclosure that they get a little bit feisty. The second technique is to use a snake hook. Now these are used to control the head end of the snake using the hook right here, and you can use it for a few different purposes. We're going to be demonstrating this with an albino Burmese python. Now before I take him out and before anyone freaks out, this snake was neglected in his previous home. He is severely underweight, and we're trying to get some weight back on him. And as a result, he's hungry, and anything that goes into his bin is fair game for food. So we need the hook to take him out, which is why he'll be a good example here. First, the hook comes in handy when you initially reach into the bin. You can kind of touch the snake with the hook, kind of let them know that you're entering their space rather than your hand. They might try to bite the hook, and that's okay. They'll soon let go, realizing that it's not food or a threat. And once they realize that you're there and that they're okay with it, you can sneak in and go right underneath the snake. And this is going to, again, control the head end of the snake. So you can lift them up, out of the way, reach behind, and pick up the rest of their body. Now that the snake is out, you can control exactly which way he's facing. You can prevent him from facing you and potentially biting yourself. And this is just simply done by moving that hook and moving the snake around. You can also use the snake hook to help get a snake back into their bin, which I kind of showed you during one of my previous videos with a carpet python. Please just stay in the bin. No, don't come out. Really? No, no, no. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna go in there. In the bin. Okay. Keep going. Keep going. You'll get food later, I promise. Lastly, if you don't have access to a snake hook, a rather odd but useful tool is a simple plastic lid. This you're pretty much going to use as a shield, essentially, against the snake's head. And I would recommend using a clear lid because of this, so you can still kind of watch the snake from the other side. We're going to be using Brad, my bull snake here, and we removed a lot of her decorations, so FYI, she usually has more to slither around. But she's kind of an aggressive snake, so we're going to cover her head with the lid here, which makes it safe for us to reach and grab the majority of her body. And once you have control over most of their body, you can usually just let the lid stay in the enclosure while you take the rest of the snake out. And again, once snakes are out of their enclosure, they usually calm right down because they realize that if you were a predator, you would have killed them by now. So they're like, oh, well, I guess I'll just hang out in your arms. It's really not that big of a deal. But with some snakes, you do still have to hang on to that lid and keep it with you to keep their head away from you at all times. As you can see, this snake here is not aggressive at all, but when food is involved, it's a different story. Most of our snakes, even though they're tame, become food aggressive when it's feeding night. So we do have to use these techniques during that time. So hopefully these techniques help you out when you come across a feisty or food aggressive snake like what we do every Sunday night. And we'll see you next time.